Barcelona City FM 107.3. It's 5 o'clock, it's Thursday, and you know what time it is. It's time for 2 hours of that beautiful Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron. And you need to stay put, my dear friend out there, because I'm not going to disclose yet. If you haven't read the promo, shame on you, because then you don't know. You don't know what amazing person I have yet again in my studio with me, joining me for 2 hours. And boy, do we have things to talk about. So coming up next, I'm going to reveal my magical guest for today. But until then, as usual, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of De La Soul to get into the groove. And this time is Lord Intended. So see you in a little bit. Welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to Shameless Exposure on Barcelona City FM 107.3. That was some beautiful soul-y De La Soul indeed. They know how to put you down in the groove, don't they? Nice. I'm glad that you joined us here, because if you didn't read the promo, like I said before, this beautiful music, you have a little treat today, because a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a good 6 or 7 weeks ago, it was my 10th episode. I had the honor to be joined by a beautiful Icelandic girl called Anna Tara Andrésdóttir from the hip-hop collective Reykjavíkur Daughter.
Wow.
Right?
Impressed.
So, without further ado, welcome back to my studio, Anna.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you wanted to come back and join me here for another 2 hours of Shameless Exposure, huh?
Absolutely, it's good fun.
How you been?
Yeah, pretty good, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I've seen you have a lot of stuff on the plate as well this time.
Well, yeah.
So let's jump right into it. What are you up to as of now?
Yeah, well, I think I told you last time I was here that I was releasing a song and a video, and the song is called Pussy Pics.
Yes, indeed you did.
Yeah, and the video is just a video of one vagina the whole time.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I saw it now.
Okay, good. So it's basically, first I wondered, how do I make a whole music video out of one vagina?
Yeah.
But I managed it, and period blood and stuff.
Indeed you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I learned is to zoom in a lot.
Oh, yes. I was sitting there and I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's kind of one of those things that And don't take this the wrong way, you
No.
know, because I'm
Go
a
ahead.
guy,
I
you know,
have
and
no
I
idea.
have this lovely relationship with period blood. And
You have what? What kind of
this
relationship?
lovely,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Not every man says that.
No, but that's kind of what I mean, you know.
Okay, explain.
It's I don't know. I don't want to bite myself too much in the ass now because I see your face. I'm like,
no,
I
I
hear this.
love it. It's the like, it's positive. Very few men say that. It's more like, usually.
Yeah, it's kind of that way, but then, you know, you realize and then you start to, you know, talk to yourself that it's just normal.
Yeah, actually healthy.
Yeah, actually. So I've been working with that, you know, to get into not reacting the wrong way.
Oh, well done.
And it's, you know, it's coming along.
So what made you think about that to begin with?
I think it comes from talking to, you know, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, and plain in general friends, you know, the reaction, how it can hurt someone and how it can make a lady, you know, so uncomfortable that it might scar someone for the rest of their life.
Ah, okay. So you heard stories like that then?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, women and ladies, you know, who are ashamed of it happening, you know, when it's such a natural thing in hand. So I figure like, so what can I do on the other side? Which is not much, but in my reaction...
Not make her feel comfortable.
Exactly. Make her feel comfortable, work on my end, you know, to like, no, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's all
and
right.
another thing
Baby
is
steps.
that you can't really seem to get the stains properly out of sheets in washing machines. So
Yeah.
if it accidentally goes in the sheets of some guy, it's like he has to take it to the cleaners or something. So that makes you feel even more guilty. And I am left wondering if men had periods, whether they would make washing machines which could actually get the stains out.
Probably. The patriarchy in a nutshell, you know. If it were that way, I would like, yep, it would, not it would be a machine. It would be like this whole corporate, I don't know, colossal, but like those machines.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay tax. You don't have
Yeah.
to do anything, you know.
Exactly, it would be easy.
This is a human right, you know.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but I think it would be like that. Oh.
I agree.
And also, you know, in the promo I wrote, and I think we talked about it a little bit, which made me super curious because I saw something on the social media that the porn sites.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about that. You know, 'cause
right. Okay.
You posted something.
It's a long story, but so the video is it starts in the beginning with a girl. You can only see the vagina, so the model is unknown, but you can see the girl kind of reaching out into the vagina, and you don't really know what she's doing. It seems like she's reaching for something or whatever. What did you think was happening in the beginning?
I mean, since I know you, I was kind of, my head was already in the picture. I was like, okay, come on, bring it to me, girl. And I was kind of right.
Okay, so she's reaching for a moon cup. For those who don't know what that is,
Yep.
it's like instead of a tampon, but it's made from silicone, and it's.
My dog's favorite toy, by the way.
Oh, really? It basically collects the blood, and so then you take it out, and then all the blood flows out. In the first chorus, exactly, it drops at the same time, the blood and the beat.
I love your face when you're talking about this. Yeah. This is what happens. Fuck it. I love it.
because it's sort of like people often want you to be more, well, quiet and private about these things. And it's just that then they make you feel ashamed, as you're saying. And so it's so very satisfying to blast it in their faces and say, no. You know, it's reality. It's here to stay.
No.
Yeah.
No, but that's good,
No.
you know. Like I think we touched on it a little bit before the last time, you know, to normalize it.
Yeah.
To you know, okay, to put it in people's faces as you were doing on your shows when you're performing with the big strap on, and you have that big screen with also the pussy picture, I guess.
Yeah. So while we're performing, yeah. So now there's a full screen vagina behind in this song as well.
Isn't it the same vagina picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Because, you know, it's difficult to get a hold on those with consent. So it's not like I had lots to choose from.
Consent is a good thing.
Oh, that's really important, because first I was wondering how to do it, because I had other ideas, you know. And so then it became really clear that, you know, you can't, like, even other artwork, and even if I'd credit it, still, like, the consent needed to be completely clear. So that's when I realized I couldn't just mix, like, first I just wanted to make a backdrop for gigs. I couldn't mix something off the internet or whatever because of consent. And then so I uploaded it on a few websites. So YouTube wouldn't let me upload it. They gave me a dot whatever that means. So if you get X many dots, you get thrown out or something like that. Oh, shit. Yeah.
So they were like talking about banning your account.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they were like, oh, we realize that, you know, it may happen by accident, blah, blah, blah. Just don't do it again, kind of thing. And I thought Vimeo would be on my side. I thought they would allow it because, you know, that's what they pride themselves on. And I've seen graphic vaginas before there. But I was allowed to upload it, but I couldn't take it off private, and I couldn't make it public. And I sent them emails and like, help me, and they said, I don't know why your account was flagged. I've unflagged it, and that was it. And I answered, well, still not solving my problem. And they stopped answering.
Did you try Tumblr? Because I've been told that Tumblr is like, you know, everything goes through there.
Really?
Yeah, that is, you know, basically Twitter, but uncensored.
I remember looking for it there, but to be honest, I went through so many sites that I don't remember how it went. But I'll double check now. But I basically, what happened, so I put it up on some site called Wistia that nobody knows about. Okay. And I couldn't even see the counts, how many people watched it. I only know how many people clicked an article, one of the articles in Iceland. It was 80,000, which is half of Reykjavik.
Oh, shit. So you went viral. Or, I mean, how much is viral nowadays?
Yeah.
Damn.
And people were really angry with me. Like, seriously angry.
But isn't that kind of what... Not that you're going for it, but you know it might be a part of the package, though,
I knew it would be part of the package.
And how do you deal with those people? Like, I mean, do you even respond?
No.
Okay.
Usually not. Well, once I responded because they thought that I released it as my band, and I didn't. I released it personally, so I only corrected that fact. I don't know. But basically, so on a project like this, something that I've been thinking about for a really long time, like a year or so, and you kind of just go into your own world of vaginas. So it starts out as simple ideas like, let's make merch with vaginas on them, or let's make a backdrop, or like, hey, I want to do a song about this, what would that be? Yeah. And the lyrics were pussy pics, and so it was basic, let's make a video of vagina. Yeah. And at first, I don't realize how much it's freaking people out. And then when I start sharing, I realized.
I think you do, though, because we were talking about that a little bit before.
Because it becomes normal. Yeah, but then I began to show it to friends.
It's normal
and they
for
were
you,
warming.
Yeah.
So in that, and that's how you get the ideas, by normalizing them to yourself, even though they haven't become normalized to others. Right. So that's the only place you can find or be original is within yourself, because you know, obviously you can't be original trying to be someone else.
Amen, sister. Oh, getting real fast here. I love it.
Yeah. And so, like, the aim wasn't to shock, but it is very helpful to shock, because if you start thinking about how the media works, the things that go viral is polarization. So either you have two people disagreeing about a subject, two famous people disagreeing, or you have something that people either hate or they love, and they have to discuss it. So the shock effect is very useful in that manner.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine it going into like the comment section or something and seeing like, oh, this is appalling. Oh my God, this young lady need to be like.
I had so much fun with that. Somebody in the media asked me, what's the worst comment that you read? And I just could not remember, because there was no comment that was left with me hurting me.
Did you get death threats?
No, not this time.
That's kind of crazy.
I did get that with the song "Nice in the Ass," like, and rape threats and stuff.
You have gotten a lot of them, I suppose. You know, as an outspoken public figure and a girl nowadays, that seems to, you know, come with the package.
Well, it's a lot of like this girl needs to be fucked or la la la, whatever like that.
But I mean, okay, that's some sad ass asshole sitting masturbating in a cabin somewhere, you know. So I mean, but those guys, you know, who actually open the next step, you know, to threaten to kill you, that for me is like, ooh, we're talking about something else here. You need to find that guy.
I haven't got a lot of experience with that, to be honest.
Good for you. That makes me happy.
Yeah? Have you?
No, I mean, I'm a man. I mean,
I've had like a comment on YouTube, you know, I'm gonna come and kill you Vikings or something.
Oh shit, yeah. Because I mean, for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, for a man as a public figure, you need to be like political or something, you know, race-wise or whatever, money to get those death threats. But for a woman nowadays, it only seems to be enough that you are a public figure. Yeah. And someone rubs the wrong way, and he just starts to attack you. No, we've definitely
seen it. Yeah, absolutely. With like like seriously famous women in the USA or you know, or
but
India.
No more of that, because I actually want to get into the vibe that we started with. I want to talk more about that sex thing because it's interesting. So we're gonna leave you a little bit with a song. It's IOU with Let's Talk About Sex, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
was unforgettable. I wanna do it again. You're crazy like an animal, and I don't want it to end. Tell me all your dreams and darkest fantasies. Ooh, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. That was unbelievable. I wanna do it again. I'll eat you like a cannibal, sweet like cinnamon. Tell me all your dreams and darkest fantasies. Ooh, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, 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 sex. Anywhere you want it, you can have it. Talk about sex, baby. Do it on the counter, we'll fuck for hours. Let's talk about sex. Anywhere you want it, you can have it. Talk about sex, baby. Do it in the shower, pussy power. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things.
And all the bad things, you and me. Welcome back. You're listening to Barcelona City FM, Shameless Exposure with Alex Lebron and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir.
Whoa, your pronunciation, man.
Every time I'm about to say your name, you give me that face.
Like, can he do it?
Like, can he do it? Can he do it? And then he's, my like, oh, shit.
Oh, I make you stressed.
But, baby steps. Like I always say, you need to give me a little bit of break.
Well, you are Swedish as well.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that for
With
a long
an
time.
emphasis on the S, though, right?
Huh? Ah,
Swedish.
right, yeah. You're correcting my pronunciation now.
And what do you mean by that? That I'm Swedish? That I'm supposed to be able to pronounce your
Maybe
name?
a bit closer, not sure though.
So, but I mean, I'm doing it correctly, though, right? Anna Tara Andrésdóttir?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that you're not Icelandic though.
Oh, yeah.
That's still very well done.
Okay, so how is the correct way of saying
Andrésdóttir.
Andrésdóttir?
Uh-huh.
So it's like
Andrésdóttir. And the D is a bit softer if you want to go.
I'm
into
hearing
it.
two T's. I might say Andrésdóttir.
In the end, Andrésdóttir.
Andrésdóttir. Okay. You see there, people. I'm working on it. Not a profession at it right now, but again, baby steps.
Yeah.
So let's get back into it. Which were the porn sites that banned
Yeah,
you? 'Cause
okay.
that's
So I
interesting.
loved how this radio show started, only talking about period blood. That was great. Let's start every show that I come on from now on.
Perfect. I told you, epic
That way.
radio.
But then, so I uploaded the video to the site Wistia, and then they just didn't notice it at first. And then it got so much trafficking, they said they sent me an email, in the top 5%, which made them notice the video and take it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so they told me, you just can't upload content like that. Right, whatever. So then I uploaded to other sites and it was taken down everywhere. And like this is in the peak, like when this was going absolutely viral. This was like just after nearly 24 hours.
Shit.
And everybody, like random people, sending me messages. Where's the video? Suddenly, the country who hates the video can't live without it.
But you always want what you can't have, right?
Yeah, but still, just a bit painful for it to fall down in the peak of things. And then I'm stressed like the whole day. I'm just uploading it to so many different sites, and then I'm trying porn sites as well because I'm like, this is the last solution.
Right.
And there was a big argument about whether this was porn or not. Me personally, I didn't think so because I didn't make it. I didn't make it to sexually arouse anyone. But if it does sexually arouse someone, I can't really control that.
But doesn't that go for the entire popular culture right now? I mean, they are selling through sex. So to argue that way for a music video, that's just dumb in my reason.
Okay, explain. I don't quite understand.
Yeah, and this is actually being on your side.
Yeah, okay.
Because, is it porn or not? Well, I mean, I saw this documentary where they were talking that the soft porn back in the day is now popular culture. And the hardcore back in the day, it's nowadays, the fetish and all of the side genres within the porn that's popping up now because it's socially accepted.
Yeah.
So we as, human beings, we are just pushing the boundaries of what is porn and what is not and all that stuff.
Yeah, and art or porn. I mean, that's in the lyrics as well. Call it art or call it porn.
Yeah, but nowadays, there actually, on some porn sites, there are music videos who are made, as a mini porn movie, so to say. So for your video to get banned, I think it's just, again...
Yeah, so basically I uploaded it on the porn sites, a few of them.
Tell me.
And 3 of them banned it. And 2 of them gave me a reason. And they told me it was because of bodily fluids.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to ask, what do they think semen is?
Yeah, right.
So it was banned off RedTube.
Oh shit, that's just brilliant.
And YouPorn. For those reasons. I can't remember the name of the third one. And then with Pornhub, I had trouble because I uploaded it here in Spain, and then I could only view it here in Spain. So I put it on the internet, and then somebody's like, "This isn't working in Iceland." Like, god damn. So then I asked someone in Iceland to upload it for me, which wasn't necessarily easy. People just kind of don't want to do that and just say no. So I thought, okay, this person will do it for me. Thank you, by the way. And so then she could watch it in her computer, but then as soon as you sent the link on, it didn't work either. I don't know why.
Wow. And it's not that, VPN thing that you just need to change the IP, da-da-da?
I don't think so, but I'm not, because for me, it just worked fine. I did the exact same as her here in Spain.
Oh, I mean, I'm not savvy with all that shit, but it happened to me when I upload my stuff on YouTube sometimes.
Okay.
When people, other locations in the world, I'm just telling to, use this VPN, and then it's usually fine.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then when you're, trying to solve this, you get a lot of useless information. Like somebody's telling me, look for a Russian porn site because they're more likely to not take it down because apparently some shit goes down there. And then
Russian porn, that's where it's at, huh?
I had no idea, but now I do. And then finally I found one porn site which allowed it, which is X-Hamster. I just think that they don't monitor the videos very well because usually they went through a pending phase. I had no idea. So basically you upload the video and then it takes forever to convert, like a few hours, and I had to be really quick.
Yeah.
And then it has to go through the people, they actually view it and make sure that it's not child porn or whatever.
Oh.
And so that's why they removed it, because they viewed it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing then, because I'm actually...
Absolutely. But it does make me wonder, though, that I hadn't quite thought about it because a lot of porn is professionally made. And then often they have the people in the beginning or the end, say, I consent to this or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it does make you think that anybody can upload a video.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
You don't really know what goes on or how it was made, and you don't really know if the person is consenting or not. And the people who own the sites, they can only guess.
Yeah, backside of the coin, I guess.
Yeah, and I
Definitely.
guess I just hadn't given it much thought, but it just freaked me out just a little bit because it's literally you can take a video of someone having sex in the street and then you're gonna you're gonna catch them, get it on your record on your phone, and then post it
That
online.
is what's happening,
Yeah.
And hold that thought, actually, because we're going to get a little break. It's time for a breather, but I want to tell you something that is actually touching down on that very thing here in Catalonia. So stay with us, people. We'll be right back.
Do you love tunes like this?
Do you really like it? Do you really like it? We're loving it, loving it, loving it. We're loving it like this.
Join Barcelona City FM at Garage 442 this Saturday for the best UK house and garage, featuring DJ Caddy, J. Russ, and Simon Boland. Saturday night from 11 till late, free entry. UK House and Garage this Saturday in Garage 442.
Welcome back to Barcelona City FM. You're listening to Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. You see, now she gave me the finger, and not the finger. She gave me the index finger and a nod, which means well done, Alex.
Yes, and I didn't want to make you stress, so I tried not to look at you.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked, people. You see, if you give the love, you're gonna get some love back. Amen to that. So, what we were talking about a little bit, it's...
You were going to tell me about porn here in Catalonia.
Yes, and not, porn here in Catalonia, but a thing I've been talking about with my Catalonian friends when I've been, on the beach with them, and most of them bathe topless, right?
Yeah.
And I
More so here than in many other countries.
Oh, yes, very much more. And I asked them, so what about this very thing that older men walk around, up the beach with their, camera thingies and just take their pictures and snapping away? Aren't you worried that you might end up on a porn site?
Yeah.
Because that's, if you go to the porn sites nowadays, you see that one genre.
Yeah.
Like voyeurism or beach or whatever, and I don't think that's controlled.
No.
So, I can totally relate to the people, getting freaked out by that.
Yeah.
And especially here in Catalonia with the, the baiting culture as it is. And
it's definitely unethical, but it's also becoming illegal.
Well, illegal, you can say what the fuck you want, but if
Basically
someone...
sharing naked pictures of others without consent.
Yeah.
I don't know how the law is everywhere, but in Iceland, it's illegal, and for the first time somebody was prosecuted for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's saying quite a lot. It's the first time someone gets prosecuted for it.
Yeah, it's sort of saying from now on that's what we're going to start doing.
Like you saw his ass, that is not real.
No.
Let's get him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, I want to talk about that because me and my friend, we were watching a documentary earlier today about the sex industry in Japan, and that it was up until, I think, 2014, child pornography was, it was like legal to have it.
Wow.
And it was, 3 years ago. Think about that one. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And
you see, that's what we kind of all tend to agree on. Well, apart from the people, what they're called again?
the what?
The people who are sexually attracted to children.
Oh,
or abuse children.
Yeah, monsters.
Yeah. Pedophile, huh?
Pedophiles.
Yeah, pedophile. There you go. Thank you. But the word was completely stolen from my mind.
No, I was thinking monster.
So, like, people tend to agree that that's absolutely wrong and that should be controlled and censored. And so, for me, obviously, this was shocking to realize how censored the internet is.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, wow, is there no space for a vagina on the internet if it's not in porn? And then even the porn wouldn't really allow it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, so there isn't space on the internet for vaginas and period blood. Because, like, in porn, it's sexualized. The vagina is sexualized. But obviously, it has other reasons for existing.
Absolutely.
Than to, And, like, childbirth.
Like that thing. Like that little side thing, you know.
Yeah.
I heard about it.
Yeah. And so it makes me wonder, like, when people are calling the video porn, it makes me think, wow, if this is porn, how can the vagina exist, which is not only to sexually arouse men? What right does it have? In what form could that be, ever? And then the other thing was, wow, if somebody's turned on by this video of like flowing period blood everywhere, maybe that's awesome.
No, I mean, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. But it bothers me that the industry or, you know, the eyes of society, you know, that they are writing the rules.
Yeah.
Because as you are saying, you know, is there no room for a vagina when it's not sexualized?
Yeah.
And it seemed like it's not better than that.
Yeah. No,
Unfortunately.
it's very surprising.
Unfortunately. And, you know, like I was hitting on earlier with the sex cells, in everything, you're looking at fucking kids' toys nowadays, and you see some action figure with a fucking thong and
They
shit.
wanted to make Mina Mouse have boobs suddenly.
I'm like, dude,
Why?
calm down, man.
Yeah.
There's like a 2-year-old's gonna play with this doll. Why the thong?
Yeah.
Why? Tell me
very
why.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And Barbie, of
I shouldn't even laugh about it, but it's kind of fucked up, right?
It's very fucked up. Yeah.
Ugh,
Absolutely.
where's this world going?
But when the I was wondering, like, does nobody have fetish for period blood? Because it's not. I don't think
I'm
it's
sure
a
there
category.
is out there.
I don't think it's a category because they took it off.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it's not, you know, supply and demand kind of thing. It's not that big of a demand.
No,
So-
I'm sure it exists, but it must be very, very rare. And also, like, isn't scat porn kind of usually... Scat porn, for those who don't know, is basically poo.
Poo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's... I don't think it's allowed on every site, but I think on some of them.
I'm not that savvy when it comes to poo porn, I might say, so
No,
I'm sorry.
it sort of
But I
seems-
mean...
it's funny 'cause what seems to be kind of okay and what not. But also other useless information that I learned
later.
is that it's not only the porn sites that control it, but actually I know one porn site that said Visa denied them. So people couldn't pay for their porn with the Visa card unless they removed the scat porn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're not only controlled by the
It's Big Brother stepping in and saying poo is too much.
Yeah, which is I at the time when I learned this, I found that really interesting because you have rape, and people don't seem to set the line there, but then the poo, woo, that's a line, and now I know period blood.
Right. And
So
I have to.
period blood, child pornography, same category.
I need to change direction a little bit because you entered into the rape thingy, and that has always been this fascination for me. This genre with the rape porn, and
You mean like a rape fantasy?
yeah, the rape fantasy.
Very
actually,
different thing.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Then take the rape fantasy thing, And I saw this documentary, and this girl was like, they had like this 20-minute interview with her where she was, cute, normal, sort of say air quotes people, not particularly more issues than any person in general, right? And she was sitting there explaining, so I'm so da 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 da, and this was Gonzo, so it wasn't really that a lot production. And then this next edit, she's oh my god, I have a hard time scraping this picture, but there's like 3 guys. One is slapping her in the face, the other one is like spitting in her face, the third one is like, I'm like, where and how does this in a person's mind?
Yeah.
And-
Okay, I find this super interesting as well.
Yeah, and
Because basically people have all sorts of fetishes, being disgraced or tied or used or violent and everything. And I think it's very common. And
it might be.
I think it's very common. And so you wonder how people, especially when they're young, and they're realizing this, this is what turns me on. And they don't know anything about it. Like, does this mean that I'm a monster? Does this mean that I want to do it in real life? Because it does absolutely not necessarily mean that. And so I would love to understand better, and I will with time, where these fetishes come from.
Definitely.
Because I think there's absolutely a reason.
I think so too. I mean, I have mine. Like you said, I think we all have them.
Yeah.
But some of them I can more understand, and some of them, as a spectator, because I'm not judging.
Yeah.
But as a spectator, I want to kind of understand, like, so how did you get there?
Yeah.
Did you wake up one day and thinking like, oh my God, today I want to get choked out while another guy is spitting me in the face while a third guy is doing whatever the fuck he's doing?
Yeah.
But even though I respect it, tell me how you arrived at that point. Because when I look at my fetishes, because I have a few, I'm like, I have no idea when I got them.
No.
But when I think of like,
I guess it's more discovering them rather
probably
than gaining them.
yeah, but it's coming. I think it was
progressing?
You know, growing up as a man, you know, answering your own curiosity. But I also think a lot was porn induced, you know, that you're watching some stuff that's like, okay, that seemed to arouse me more than the other stuff.
Yeah.
So that I want to bring into my reality and see what's up.
Yeah.
And does that happen as much for women or for yourself, so to say? When and if you're watching porn and then you see something that, okay, that arouses me more than this thing. So I want to try that out.
Okay, I'm going to answer very honestly and say that I never talk about me personally in this way on radio or in media, because in my artwork, I realized often that like the more that you're vulnerable, often the better your artwork is. But then when I started working on radio, I realized that I needed a different line.
Okay.
Guideline.
So I'm trying to shamelessly expose you too much,
but it's also because I'm gonna study sexology, and because I used to work in a sex shop, and for me there needs to be a very clear line.
Absolutely.
For personal and then professional.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And it's a funny thing because later tonight I'm going to this thing. They have this, I think it's a grand opening, something in a porn shop somewhere in town, and it's going to be super interesting because the first guest is going to get a goodie bag.
Okay.
So.
So mainly what I think that people often worry about is that they really judge themselves, and people who like rape fantasies, they don't know they might feel that something is wrong with them, and there has been a bit of discussion about this. I feel that people have been taking the shame off this a bit.
Okay.
And
how do you mean then taking the shame off it?
One movie which I thought was absolutely awesome, and unfortunately I can't remember the name. It's an English movie. It was something like Funny Lies or something. I can't remember. But so in the movie they're trying to explain this difference. So it's about a few couples. It's not only about the rape fantasy, but others as well, like other sexual fetishes.
Yep.
And they're trying to explain the difference between rape fantasy and rape.
Okay.
And you're kind of surprised that you need to explain that difference, but they do. And so the couple and the woman says, I want you to rape me.
Okay.
And first he mishears it and thinks that she says, grade me. She's like, oh, baby, you're a 10. No, rape me.
Safe answer.
Yeah. And then he tries to do it, but she doesn't think that he does it well enough. It's not convincing enough. She saw right through it, and he's like, okay, it's her birthday coming up. This time I'm going to do it super convincing. So they go out for dinner, and then they walk into the car, and he's hired two men to come and smack him in the face and hold her, cover her eyes, and throw her into the car, and then they switch. So the guys leave, and he takes over.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's the difference with where she thinks that it's real, and then she realizes that it's not real, and there's this scene of him in the hospital, because his face was smashed. Oh, she smashed it. That's right, because she thought it was real, and she couldn't see who it was. And the only first thing he's asking is like, did I do it well? Did it work this time? And she just kind of goes, aha, yes, baby.
You did it perfect, honey.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
I really, really love this movie. I thought it was, I love it when I don't feel alone in the world, when I feel like there are so many awesome feminists doing awesome stuff.
The audience liked it as well. Yeah. Man, so okay, a little recap for all of you out there. This movie, this lady has a rape fantasy.
Yeah.
Tells her spouse.
Yeah.
He does it once, she is not happy with it.
No, she doesn't think it's convincing enough.
Okay, and then he is about to step it up, so he hires two men to beat him up and to what? Because I missed.
Oh, right. Or I think I misremembered that. I don't think that they actually beat him up. They basically fake an attack, so they tie her hands and they blindfold her. And they kind of pretend to attack him as well. And then once he's blindfolded, they switch positions. The men leave and he takes over, and that's when she elbows him in the face. Because he thinks it's them. So it's just trying to explain that line between, for her, the reality was that she was being attacked.
Oh my God. That's just brilliant.
It's a very good way of explaining the difference, because I've seen comments online from young boys saying, I like rape because I like to watch rape porn. They really just don't understand themselves or where it comes from, and this is something that I think we really, really need to have a discussion about. But the reason why we don't do it, I think, is because we don't understand the grown-ups.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in. Yeah.
And I also think, as a small boy, I'm happy that porn came into my life, generally late, because you had those, when you found the old tore up porn mag in a ditch somewhere and you brought it in and you flipped through that, that was more innocent. But nowadays, when it's so visual, it's 2 clicks away and you have a full feature, in front of you in the cell phones or whatever. And being, 8, 9-year-olds, I can see how that can mess you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you grow in with that because, we had more ourselves. Okay, I saw this and then I heard that, and what do you think about that? But nothing was really tied into reality, so to say. Nowadays, kids have what they think is reality in porn movies.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We are able to, set aside, okay, this
Nobody
is...
counteracts that information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about the...
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we have seen the fruits of it, I think.
Yeah?
I think there's more violent sex and more kind of mistreating.
Maybe.
And objectifying. But I guess it's difficult to say more because then, also things are pretty awful.
I mean, they might be. I don't know. Oh, you hear what I hear? You hear what I hear?
Don't recognize it.
This is for all of you out there listening to Barcelona City FM 107.3. This is Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir. We're going to take a little breather, but I'm going to leave you with some Phil Collins and Philip Bailey with Easy Lover, and then we'll be back with some more sex talk. See you later.
She's like no other, and I'm just trying to make you
Yeah, I'm trying to make you see. Welcome back to Barcelona City FM with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir, and you're listening to Shameless Exposure. And today has been shameless indeed, and I love it. I have friends on Instagram and I have friends live over the website who say, great episode today, just keep it more shameless, Alex. So I think that's what we're gonna do, Anna.
Yeah.
Let's make it all shameless.
I actually remember just one part about more, and then I'll stop about the rape fantasies.
Oh,
but
no.
There's this
Keep
writer. Yeah, there's this writer. Her name was Nancy. I can't remember her surname, unfortunately. But she wrote, I think, 3 books about women's fantasies, where she actually like asked women about the fantasies, and one I think about men's fantasies.
Yep.
And she found that when it became basically when it was more unacceptable for women to be sexual, so in the older days,
Yep.
they would have more rape fantasies.
Uh-huh.
So when it was not allowed, it would be easier that someone did it to you and you didn't have any responsibility for
Oh.
being that sexual being. So it's
Okay,
like, no,
okay.
no, I'm not sexual, someone else is making me be.
Yeah.
To find that release. I think that makes sense in some way. I don't think it's the only reason. But I found it interesting.
I mean, yeah. I never really thought about it that way, but check.
I mean, this woman wrote 3 books. Like, she's got to have quite a bit of information.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
Nancy Friday, that's the name.
Nancy Friday.
Yeah.
And the name of the book?
I don't, well, there are 3 different ones, but I don't remember the name of the books.
Oh, but check that out, people. Nancy Friday. And there's, what do you say, some sexual liberation
Well, she was just like looking into this, into sexual fantasies.
out of the female standpoint, then, I believe.
Well, 3 of them were about women and 1 about men.
Okay, nice. I wouldn't think I would hit up the one about men.
Yeah.
I think that would speak to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not sure, though.
It
Not
is
sure.
very
Because your video, actually, again, the shock value.
Yeah.
I was thinking there, and it's a little harder for me because I've been talking to you about it, and I know a little about what you're about.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there and was trying to hold the what if I didn't know Anna?
Oh, okay.
And the first I was like, huh? What is this?
Why?
What is this? Why, how, when, and where? Okay. But then it's kind of this, I don't know, danger attraction to it. It's a vagina, which is interesting and beautiful, but then there's this relationship with the vagina and the blood, and again, from the male standpoint, coming up as a young boy, getting almost taught that it's, disgusting and this and that.
Yeah.
It's an inner battle. And I was like, okay, it's beautiful because in one way it represents life almost. If you want to go super poetic about
Fertility.
it, Yeah, absolutely. So I was pulled between the 2 ideas.
Yeah.
And I felt myself having to really think to stay in the middle.
Excellent.
And
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, and I think that is that what you want to go? Is this kind of a let's see where people stand about this? Because
It's a mirror. For me, that's what I think. And that's why it's so easy for me to not take all the hate comments personally. Because obviously it doesn't have much to do with me. It has to do with their relationship with vaginas and period blood. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's absolutely a mirror of how you feel about this subject. I'm not saying that there's, this, if you hate the video, you hate vaginas, la la. Like, it has different meaning for everyone.
That's exactly what you say. You hate vaginas.
Well, I can't tell the people what's going on with inside them, but I would like them to take a look at themselves. So I did put on my Facebook wall as well, in Icelandic, unfortunately. But I was saying, okay, so you watch something or you witness something and it makes you feel uncomfortable and you don't know how to react, and you don't, instead of using the opportunity to look within and wonder what does this say about me and get to know yourself better, you decide to type one of these comments in. So I made seven different categories.
You deserve to be fucked.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, absolutely. So I made 7 different categories because I'm very experienced with commenters.
I bet you are.
Yeah. So I made these even like just before this went viral. Basically, I released it and then I did this because I just remembered this from past experience. And so the number 1 category: what about the children? The number 1. So obviously we cannot baby-proof the world, and art and music should definitely not be baby-proof.
No,
absolutely
fuck
goes
that.
without saying. And then also it's online, I honestly, I think people would have been less angry if I would have just said this is porn, and if it was obvious to everyone that it was porn, I think people would have been less angry. Yeah, because then there's a place for that in the world, and you know, people are more used to it.
But I think it would just aggravate people still, though, but in a different way. Because then they can aim it to something. Yeah. I mean, shit, you just put it in people's face. That's usually what it is about. Just here. How do you react to this?
Yeah, well, it's like, I think that I get as much space in the world as I'm willing to take. And I have a lot of less space, so I'm just going to, you know, do it fast.
Amen.
And so that's the number one category. How am I going to explain this to, you know, my children? And actually, I think that the video is absolutely fine for children. It's biology. I don't care if 3-year-olds see
I would love you to go into a regular classroom somewhere, like particularly in Sweden or, you know, a progressive country like that.
Yeah.
And put on this video and then watch the adults in the room.
Yeah.
Do not give a shit about the children, because the children will be like, "Ee!" But the adults,
that much. Just like, yeah.
No, I think the boys would be like, oh, "Is that what I think it is?"
Yeah.
No, and then the ladies would be like,
yeah. One of my friends said, "So I've showed like everyone I met today the video, and I have to say, I think the women react stronger than men."
Yeah.
So I found that interesting, and I wonder if it's true in general, and then why. I wonder whether men are like more used to seeing vaginas in porn, or like they feel shame because, you know, they have the periods and they're used to feeling that shame.
But isn't that one of the general misconceptions out there, though, that men watches more porn than women?
I think it's definitely evening out. I think that before it was more men, but a lot of women watch porn, obviously.
Yeah. And I mean, with our generation coming up now, you know, as you're saying, getting more socially accepted.
Yeah.
But I've been talking to, you know, my friends and in and around my, you know, acquaintance circle, so say.
Yeah.
And everybody watches porn.
But only my personal feeling is that men like they're somehow more experienced. They go deeper into the fetishes, and I think that that's only my personal experience, that they're a little bit less shocked of the depths of the internet porn. Do you know what I mean?
Be. Well, I mean, the research is kind of vast, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's and like maybe women start later. So if you start like the longer that you're watching porn, the deeper you go into the fetishes and all that. So
well, yeah, I mean, if you open the box, you know, you start to see that, oh, there's more if I go deeper. So yeah, absolutely.
Here's this category, and then I can put in search words and so they maybe are a little bit less shocked in that way. I don't know. I mean, I'm only talking about personal thoughts here.
Someone told me curiosity killed the cat, so I'm not touching that one.
No. Okay, so that's
but I agree with you.
Number one category. Another one is, you know, they just need to be fucked, and like, you know, even if it was because of horniness, even if it like then I'm thinking great use of sexual energy, like absolutely, very good use of sexual energy.
And again, it's not even about that. It's about the issues in the person, you know?
Yeah.
That individual. So, fuck it. You can do it whatever way or from whatever place within yourself you want.
Yeah.
But if a person reacts like, gee, there deserves to be fucked.
Yeah.
I believe it wouldn't have mattered what you did.
No.
You know? Because that broken thing is still broken inside of that person. You
exactly.
know?
Because hate that you give others in comments is usually just self-hate, which
right?
you're directing towards others.
Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And to me, it's very obvious, so it's quite embarrassing for them. But anyway, and then another one is like, is this really necessary? And the answer to that is yes, because you're asking that question. Because the fact that you're just asking is limiting my freedom.
Oh, true. So, excuse me, hold a thought. It's 6 o'clock, people. Remembering you're listening to Barcelona City FM 107.3, and we're stuck in the groove here. So don't leave us anywhere. Coming up next, we're gonna get deeper into this porn. What am I gonna say? Porn swamp.
Well, contemplating about porn and what is porn and what not.
What she said. So until then, a little bit of news for you. We see you in a couple of seconds.
And now it's time for the news, brought to you by Wicklow Tax. Enjoy your overseas adventures whilst we take care of your taxes.
I'm Spencer James. A teacher has been jailed for 45 years after abusing a number of pupils in his care. The man, who's not been identified to protect the victims, was jailed after his trial at the Supreme Court in Madrid. The defendant, who pleaded not guilty, abused the children at a school in Madrid between 2010 and 2014. In other news, the European Space Agency set up Camp in Lanzarote to test a number of tools that the agency plans to use on future human missions to Mars. The geology of the island is considered similar to that of the Red Planet and proven to be the ideal location for the current exercise called Pangaea X. As well as tools, radio equipment, drones and robots, spacesuits and simulated spacewalks are also being tested on the island. And Madrid City Council's launched a novel way to tackle Christmas shopping crowds by making pedestrians walk one way. Pedestrians in the Puerta del Sol and surrounding streets will be directed in one direction depending on the side of the street they're walking. It's in an effort to improve the flow of pedestrian traffic over the busy season. The restrictions will be in place on Fridays, Saturdays and Sunday evenings and also on public holidays until the end of the Christmas period. Do sign up to daily news alerts and for the latest breaking news, log on to EnglishRadioNews.com. That's the latest from the ERN Newsroom. You're up to date. Any overnight mist should clear to be a bright, warm and sunny day today across Barcelona. Highs of 18, lows of 10 degrees. Cloud moving in as we move towards tomorrow. A cloudy Friday, bright, warm and sunny on Saturday, cooling down on Sunday. For a full 5-day forecast and everything where you are, EnglishRadioNews.com/weather.
Enjoy your overseas adventures whilst we take care of your taxes. For more information, go to wicklowtax.com. That's wicklowtax.com.
Welcome back to Barcelona City FM 107.3 with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. That was some news because you just passed the 6th mark of this beautiful, beautiful evening. And behind me, you hear that this is Barcelona City FM Shameless Exposure tradition right now. But it's time for some November Rain and some Guns N' Roses. And we'll see you in right about 8 minutes.
even friends seem out to harm you. But if you could heal a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to charm you?
Welcome back. You're listening to Barcelona City FM 107.3, and this is Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. We've been back. We are back from the break.
Yeah.
You still as good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Remember where we were?
You tell me where we were. Nice transition there.
Okay, because I looked it up on the phone to remember the 7 categories of how you respond if something makes you uncomfortable, and you don't have the intelligence or the courage to take a look within yourself.
Okay.
And you need to just dismiss whatever you just watched, and you write one of the following things. So I'd already mentioned, what about the children? And these girls just need to be fucked.
Yep.
And then, is this necessary? Saying yes, because you're asking that question, which actually limits my freedom. So yeah.
Yep.
So another one is, this is only attention seeking. That's like a very big one. Like, that's all it is. And actually, regardless of whether it is or not, it has nothing to do with the work.
And I might ask then,
Doesn't devalue.
the one, is this necessary? Does that one come usually from women?
No. No.
Okay. So, because that feels like it's something the previous generation would tell a younger female today. Is this really necessary?
Yeah.
I'm like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. But no, I'd say I hear it equally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Sure.
like the attention seeking, like, it doesn't devalue the effect or anything, because like at least it creates a discussion at the very least.
Absolutely.
And then another one which is good is also, this is just an obsession, which absolutely it is, and that's why the artwork is better, because you go so much deeper when it's an obsession. And sometimes I've been trying to make something and I feel that I'm not quite becoming obsessed, and then I try to switch into that mode.
Okay.
Because it makes so much more progress.
And how does the obsessed mode differentiate itself from the normal one, so to say?
Just like way more proactive, just like way more progress in the work that I'm making.
Okay.
Way more, it moves faster.
Oh, and
the other one
why
kind
is
of
that though?
stops.
Paint me the picture, because that's interesting.
Obsession means basically giving it a lot of thought.
Okay, so it can also translate into your passion then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because for me, I'm obsessed with music because it's my passion and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I get it.
But I mean, it definitely it becomes a lot. Like when I was making the song about anal sex, I would transfer it to absolutely everything. I mean, I went and I saw Billy Elliot, the play, and I was like, yeah, this is like anal sex, because it's him wanting to do something girly and it's not accepted.
Yeah.
So absolutely like anal sex.
I love it. Yeah. You get applause. I will update my soundboard so I get applause, because I want.
I mean, I was seeing absolutely everything, and therefore get a really deep insight and understand so many different points of views in so many different ways. So it makes the art so much better. And then another one is, this is private and should be private. This kind of, be modest about these things.
Yeah.
And again, no.
That is the same person who has Xhamster, Pornhub, YouPorn, all those sites, like, and then your video.
Yeah, because you're creating a taboo with this. And with taboo, you have a lack of knowledge, so you have more stupid information going around. Yeah, and we know so much less about the women's bodies, so much less. So in the video, what happens when you record the vagina in time lapse? At one point, the outer lips, they move. You see that?
Yeah.
Like fast movement. And people think that I did that with the computer, and I didn't. Those are real muscles in the vagina, and I don't know a single person who knew that.
No.
So this is our bodies.
I was thinking edited.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
No. And so, what the fuck? How do I not know that about my body? How do I not know that about my vagina? How does everybody not know that about vaginas?
As a man, I get a free card then, I guess.
It's like the women's body is really amazing. I mean, think about childbirth as well.
Oh, so
there's so much lack of information when it comes to the women's body.
A question here then. Because when you have a ball sack, right?
Yeah.
And it's resting, and and then you look, and then you see it's kind of moving.
Yeah.
Like there's an alien living in there, right? And it's not an aroused state. It's just normal. You're just chilling, right?
Yeah.
Is that the equivalent of, the lips just, poof, Take a little whiff.
What's the question?
Well, you know, when the ball sack is moving by itself, is that the female equivalent? You know, when the lips, the labia is moving, so to say. That would be cool. Would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's getting shameless now. I fucking love this. Love it.
No, but I was so mesmerized by that. I had no idea that the vagina had.
I'm actually gonna go home and take another look.
Yeah, because now that you know it's real. But
for all of you out there, excuse me, my friend, but I think they want to know. So, where can people go in and look at this video that we're talking about right now?
Yeah. So in the end, after uploading it on so many sites, I did find one where it is at the moment. I kind of fear that it will be taken down once it gets, once the people notice, I think. Yeah. And it is, but also you can post it on your site maybe. Share it so people can find it there. I will do my best. Put it on the spot where you can't say no.
Let's go. No, but I mean, if I can, I will.
Yeah. No, like Facebook allows it.
Well, then I will.
Yeah. And so at the moment it's on that website. But I still feel controlled. Like I fear that it's going to be taken down always. And at some point I was like, who's going to help me set up a server? And I have a friend because then I'll be a queen of the internet. And if anybody has the same problems as me, they can come to me and I'll post their stuff. But the thing with setting up a server, it's a lot of work, but what's more work is maintaining it. You have to update it once a month, so now I know that.
And server space is a bitch, right?
Yeah.
It's expensive, and where?
Well, I have a friend who could help me set it up.
From scratch. Oh, shit.
A proper computer nerd.
That's real.
Yeah. But to maintain it is too much work for him to do for free. But there's you can make your own websites, but that's still also controlled. But I did send it to DreamHost, which helps you make your own websites. It hasn't been set up yet, but it will be pussypicsforever.com. You're not taking this off. Write
that down, people. Remember, we heard it first.
And so I sent them the video because it costs money and I don't want to pay for them just to take it down. So I asked them, will this be okay? And they said, understand that we're not lawyers, but I don't think that you're breaking any laws.
Well, that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, that seems to be their only requirement.
I think you're breaking any laws.
They were not quite sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
On. I wonder if you see that movie Memento.
Not that I remember, I think years ago.
Oh, it's this guy without, I think he doesn't have a short-term memory, so he needs to write everything down.
Yeah, I remember.
And then there's a scene in the movie where he's sitting with a bottle of scotch or wine or something, and then he's looking at it, and it's empty, and he doesn't remember drinking it. Yeah. And that movie is non-linear edited, so the scenes are not, following each other.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the bottom I don't feel drunk. So that was kind of the same. Right? It did a little far-fetched relation to it. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So at the moment it's up on these two websites, one porn site and one not. And then a really common question was, are you admitting that this is porn since you're uploading it on a porn site? My opinion, no. All I can say is my opinion. I don't think that I can say why I made this, that it wasn't to sexually arouse people, but whether people categorize it as porn or not, I don't think is my job. I think it's society's. Yep. So to me, it doesn't change whatever the video is, just depending on where you upload it, especially since they rejected it.
Right. But isn't that also what you said earlier with if I just call it porn, then probably it would be more accepted, because then it's easily for people to place it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because now people can't place it, so, okay, I'm going to take the angry route.
Yeah.
This is appalling. This should be private. But, no, this is porn. Okay, but I'm not for porn, but at least I know what it is.
Yeah.
So, no?
Or it doesn't look like anybody's being harmed by the video. If you have consent. Yeah. It should be okay.
I don't know. I mean, I feel still with a whole porn debate today, it's a lot of are they in harm or not? In our harm's way or not? How can we find out?
But also, what image of sex are we giving? Are we teaching people who are watching this, young kids, that this is how sex is? Are we giving realistic vision?
We are quite aware that that's not the picture, right? This is the picture of the patriarch, so to say.
Yeah.
Because it's...
As one comedian put it, and I don't remember who I'm quoting, and I'm hoping it's not Louis C.K. It was the woman hates internet. He explained it to his son.
I don't know who it is.
That way. No, I don't remember his name, but like I said, I hope I'm not.
Do you remember the bit?
Huh?
Do you remember the bit?
Yeah, he said this, the internet hates women. He was explaining it to his son when he realized he was watching porn.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Damn, I wanted to.
Yeah.
And do you have anyone other good like stand-up comedians nowadays that you feel like, okay, this is approaching, feeding the debate, so to say, with this female
porn?
sexuality and the liberation of it?
No, I'm not that deep into comedians. I don't know them well enough to
No?
know if they've touched on this subject.
That's actually one of my favorite platforms when it comes to such
I agree.
topics, because
they're very intelligent.
yeah, and also I like when a woman, so to say, is that they show that free spirit.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite personal female stand-up artists, Eliza Schlesinger, and she's usually regular on the Joe Rogan podcast. And hearing her talk about her life and like the stuff in her everyday from the patriarch and how she handles it, with just fuck you. Just because I have a vagina, you don't own me, you don't own the right to me, and like the way she handles it, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
And you are kind of giving me the same feeling.
Okay, thank you.
Because I remember I told you first time around you were here, like I want to have inspiring people, and you are one of the most shining stars, I think.
Thank you. I find it a bit difficult to take compliments, but thanks very much.
I got compliments for days, people. And also, I haven't said that. So if you're not joining us, because you know me, my MO is that I want to make my guests blush. And Anna is hard not to crack, but I'm still working at it.
Okay.
So you should all join us live on BarcelonaCityFM.com, where you have a live feed where you can see us in the studio, and I'm actually looking you dead in the eyes right now and waving. So thank you so much for joining us. BarcelonaCityFM.com. Don't forget that. Let's get back into this.
Yeah.
Vaginas and period blood and just epic radio in general.
Yeah, so do you know there is such a thing as feminist porn?
Actually, yes, I know, because I saw a documentary about that.
Yeah.
The more female-driven porn world that is starting to come about.
So there's one site called Make Love Not Porn. And it is like couples who make it themselves. It's also, it doesn't have the same beauty standards. It's more real life. And then there's a woman who basically controls that and monitors. And then there is a very famous woman who actually lives here called Erica Lust.
Oh, yes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, but keep going.
Okay, you tell me.
Yeah, you finished that.
Yeah, well, basically she's made short films and I think longer films as well, porn films.
Yeah.
And so the next question is, what's the difference? What is feminist porn?
Yeah.
And I don't think I can explain it completely, but, like one of the first things I notice is, the woman is not being degraded in any way.
Yeah.
And another thing, the men are good looking. Hallelujah. Why did that not happen before? Because usually, the men are really not good looking very often. So good looking men as well. But then the films are also beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Like it's very artistic. And it doesn't end with only the man orgasming. It's not like, well, the man came, it's over.
Right.
It's like, both of them, if they want, can have an orgasm.
And that's interesting, though. I mean, still, like we said earlier, coming out of the patriarch world and aim to speak to it and for it, I believe, in general. And then it's interesting that out of the porn aspect, the man ejaculating, that is, how do you say?
Glorified?
Now we have arrived, that's the point of it all.
Yeah.
But for me, who I am in my own sexuality, I am, based out of the female standpoint.
Okay.
For me, it's usually all about her.
Yeah.
That's where my pleasure lies.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem at all, to just dedicate my time for that.
Okay.
And then me, myself becomes secondary. And when I talk, with my friends and all this stuff, I realize that it's not a lot of us out there, that thinks like this. And do you think that is something that comes out of the, to be programmed out of the porn aspect, that it's the goal is for the man to ejaculate and then it's done?
What's the question?
That, if you talk to guys nowadays, in my age, so to say, that they focus on the man, so to say.
I think it's very different. I think a lot of men over-focus on the women, and I think you need balance with that as well, because you can't over-focus on the women and forget about yourself.
No.
And then the other way around. You can focus too much about yourself and forget.
But
the other
if my
partner.
pleasure lies in the pleasuring her, then for me it's not forgetting about myself,
No.
because I'm getting so
Something
much
out of it.
out of seeing
Absolutely.
her in whatever state.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a good balance
Okay.
that you can find, but then there's also one thing that tends to happen, because obviously women want more orgasms and more pleasure in general from sex, but then you also sometimes it happens is that you have this pressure to have an orgasm, because otherwise the man doesn't feel like a man, and so that really works against you.
True.
So-
Interesting.
So sometimes the journey is more fun than the end point.
True. Absolutely.
Yeah, so be careful with that. Especially listeners.
Be careful, Alex. No, thank you, Anna. I will keep that in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Ace up my sleeve, so to say.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's more to describe with feminist porn, but it's definitely just giving a more realistic. But even in one of her short films, there was this power dynamic, bondage.
Yeah.
It's a while since I watched it, so I can't remember very well. But so it's not to say that BDSM or whatever, bondage domination,
Yeah.
sadomaso, is always a anti-feminist thing. Absolutely not. In fact, I quite realized that they are better than us in many ways, in the ways that they know very well what they like and dislike,
Yeah.
and they set the boundaries very well. They discuss it beforehand, or at least this is how it should be done.
Okay.
They discuss it beforehand very well, and then afterwards as well.
Oh.
What could have done better, or how do we do it next time? And then they're also another thing that's very important to them, and it's like checking up on each other afterwards, the day after or something. Because
Okay.
you're very vulnerable, and if you feel a lack of love or being cared for, or consideration your way afterwards, that can kind of backfire in the way that you feel quite bad afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's, they consider it more important in BDSM sex, but I think it's important in general.
I mean, of course, it's in general, and my perception of it, from also the last stimulation I got from this was this documentary we were watching, I think the other day, when they were talking about, this sadomasochism and the BDSM and all this stuff, that when you talk about the kind of people that does it,
Yeah.
normally is people, in a power position in their everyday life,
Yeah.
making big decisions, super stressed and everything. So when they actually get to that platform, when they can live out,
They want to break
Yeah.
from the responsibility.
yeah, break from the responsibility, break from the everyday grind, so to
Yeah.
say. And then, just let go.
Yeah.
Free lunch into whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw this one thing. It was this man, like CEO for a big company. He was interviewed in that documentary, and his thing was being kicked in the balls. And we're not talking about, light taps. We're talking about fucking football kicks.
Yeah.
And for me, it's so hard to relate to. But then I just relate to, the kind of fetishes I have, and realize that there's people out there who would look at me like, oh, dude, you fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I can't explain all of them, but one thing that you notice is that a lot of us have suffered some kind of abuse in our lives.
Yeah.
And then we tend to repeat those patterns.
Yeah.
So, not everybody thinks about, it's kind of analytic psychology, what I'm getting into. But yeah, so you have this tendency of repeating it. So some people want to abuse you, some people want to be abused.
Yeah.
The lyrics. So that's basically what it is, because you have this tendency, it's normal for you.
Yeah.
And you unconsciously repeat these patterns.
Absolutely.
That might be one explanation, but not all of them.
That might be a good point. And you see, now time just flies.
Yeah.
So we are 7:30 here in Barcelona City FM. We are about to take a little break, but after that, don't go anywhere, because we're going to keep on talking about this till there is no more to talk about, which is pretty much impossible. So you have a good half hour ahead of you. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple of seconds.
He's wild. He's crazy. He's a little bit lazy, but he's always so nasty. He pushes the envelope harder than the postman. He makes every day feel like a party. He's Bobby Bastos. Tune in Monday to Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Only on Barcelona City FM 107.3.
Do you love tunes like this?
Do you really like it? Do you really like it? We're loving it, loving it, loving it. We're loving it like this.
Join Barcelona City FM at Garage 442 this Saturday for the best UK house and garage, featuring DJ Caddy, J. Russ and Simon Boland. Saturday night from 11 till late, free entry. UK House and Garage this Saturday in Garage 442.
Welcome back to Barcelona City FM 107.3. This is Shameless Exposure with Alex Lebron and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. And we are about to almost close up this beautiful topic we've had, but you had a little bit more for us.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier the 7 categories of the type of criticism, which for me, they don't have any effect on me, because like I just look at these comments on like this category, because I've been through the thought process and I've thought this through and I've gotten to a conclusion so many times that I don't have to do it again. It's automatic now.
Yeah.
So the seventh one is what other artists tend to do, because they know that the typical criticism is what about the children, and they know not to participate in that sort of way. So they make it a bit more elegant, and they say this is just bad art.
Yeah, look at me, right?
Yeah, and so obviously that leads to the question: is there such a thing as bad art, and who can define that? Who can decide that? Who has that power?
Right.
And then you would, because this is a huge topic within the art world. There have been made so many art shows about this, where they on purpose make very simple art, like here's a glass of water on a table and it's art. I'm going to call it art, and I'm going to see what people say about that. And so testing people's limits and really thinking about this topic. And it's so weird that the educated people still don't seem to be educated enough to have thought this through.
Yeah.
So I googled this the other day, and I found like one definition of bad art, which I agree with like for myself, but I don't think that that's the truth about all art. So basically she said, yes, bad art does exist, and for me it's the art that has the least capacity of being disliked. So that one really, is absolutely the same as what I think, because then it's not really touching people.
Right.
So she said like something that like just doesn't move you at all, like background noise or elevator music, she said. But then I don't want to say that this is the total truth about everything, because you hear great music and you don't dislike it.
Right.
But yeah. So, it doesn't define everything, but that's her definition, and that's absolutely fine. But then she made this art, like an art show about this, because of people who are going around going bad, good, good, bad, bad, good. And then they were saying, this is not good art because he's drawing like a 5-year-old. And then she mentioned some really famous, successful artist that I don't remember the name of, who has that style as a 5-year-old and is still considered to be great.
Yeah.
So, just basically not many people have that definition, or like that power to decide what's good or bad. And then another person did an interesting thing. She researched all the people who made the art that she thought was bad, and she talked to them about it. And she said that in the end, all of them said, I enjoyed making it.
Yeah.
And they weren't claiming that it was great and that the world needed it, or that they were going to make shitloads of money. It was just like, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much one of the best reasons you can say.
Yeah.
Because that's you can't argue with that.
Validated the existence completely.
Yeah, sure. I like doing this, so what the fuck are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Don't watch it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, true. And also, I want to hit a little bit, because I remember this was earlier this summer, a little bit before summer. I met my friend. I don't even know what to say, because he's in this big project right now.
Okay.
And he used to be like a big person within porn.
Okay.
And he was actually the one that brought VR porn into Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so he wasn't a porn actor, but he was...
No, he was a
producing
producer and, a shot caller within the porn industry for a long time,
Uh-huh.
And we talked about Erika Lust.
All right.
And I was thinking, like, I really want to meet her. So I asked him, can I come on set and, see what's it about? And he was like, yeah, no problem. I'll talk to her. Yeah. So,
if I was running that set, I'd be, I'm not having random people. But anyway, okay.
Nothing is set in stone. So I was like, I might just sit around, see what's up,
Okay.
And I'm super... just to be on a set and hang out and see what it's about.
Yeah, of course, if you can go, absolutely.
That would be
absolutely.
super interesting. And also, this fact, when you see behind the scenes footage, and you see the behind the scenes footage that is kind of, okay, it doesn't seem that bad.
So did you go?
No, I mean, it ran out. It fell out.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
but I mean, I might go,
Yeah. Well, let me know if I can go.
Oh, look at that. I'm going to bring me a +1. Is that all right? No, but and then you have the other aspect when you see the behind the scenes footage that is just awful.
Yeah.
And usually from the, what's it called? The bukkake something. When you have like 10 men or a gang or I don't know how many, and then they all ejaculate on the women, or preferably in the face.
Yeah.
And then the behind the scenes footage, they are actually conducting an interview with this girl literally covered in jizz, right?
So
and she's just conducting a normal interview.
she doesn't feel the need to get clean at all.
And for me, I was like sitting there watching this and almost like watching your video. It was like this, like I had a hard time taking in what I was watching.
Digesting.
But I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop because I was so amazed by her professionalism in the moment. She was, really considering the questions, answering seriously, while jizz was dripping down her eyebrow.
Yeah, but is it professionalism or is it just so normalized for her that
Probably.
she doesn't think anything is...
Can they go hand in hand, though?
I'm sure that she was being professional.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah. But the reason why she's handling all the jizz isn't I think because she's thinking I have to be professional about this and I have to act normal.
Numbified,
she
maybe.
Just doesn't give a shit because she's so normal. Like it's normalized for her.
Maybe. Or another. I mean, I'm just racking up the different porn documentaries I've been
But
watching.
who knows? Actually, I don't want to say because like maybe someone paid her to do it that way and basically
Probably.
act. So like we don't know anything.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that was not a free gig because you need to up your level, girl.
But like we don't even know if she had the option to get clean or not.
True. I mean, stay with me now, don't?
Yeah. But that's the thing about porn. Like you have no idea what's going on in the scene, and that's kind of what bothers you.
Isn't that like to widen perspectives a little bit? What's happening nowadays with the social media and everything that you, in general, you don't know what's happening because today it's about the quick perception. You perceive me to be this way, therefore you like what I'm about or what I do.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I don't think it's quite comparable because with the porn industry, obviously you're worried about people getting hurt, and then the effect that it has on society and hurting society. But then with people's image in the media, that's very, very limited because people obviously are like wide, like they have a lot of ranges. They have different depths and are very different. I can be very tough and very strong, and then I can be very sensitive in other areas. The media will only pick up on the strong side of me because it sells better, probably more interesting. So the media will never kind of display an accurate image of yourself in a way because it just can't, because it doesn't have that depth and it can't show every side of you, and not every side of you sells or is interesting.
no, so therefore they just pick the side that sells,
Yeah.
which is usually the stupid one or the sexy one.
Yeah, very
Take a
often.
pick.
And like for me, I think that people only know me through the media, know like maybe 10% of me or something, and like nothing else. And it makes you wonder when you're voting for people, politicians or something. It's like, because now I know people, I know their image, and I know them personally, and they're so different.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you remember my question last time you were here. If the government knew everything about me, would you be considered a criminal? Remember that one? This is kind of the thing, how much do you really know about people out there? People in your own circle, so to say. Because the more you get to know someone, I realize that still to this day, I get like, huh?
I think some people are more comfortable with living that kind of a bit of a double life than other people.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm very honest, so I'm not very double. But when I do meet other people who are, I find it difficult because I don't understand it very well.
I think it's interesting, though, because I don't see as you being dishonest if you don't want to disclose that you have something from, your background. But when it comes out, when you trust me that much, and I'm like,
privacy.
this creates layers.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, when, I have a friend, and this friend is just like this big teddy bear, and then it gets revealed, and you start to think like, oh, there's more to this.
Yeah.
And
person when they open up, basically.
Yeah. And I love that thing, because then you feel like, okay, so now you put that trust into me as a person
You
or
feel
as
valued.
your friend, and, valued, or let into the close circle.
Yeah.
Because I treasure that like gold.
Yeah.
That the personal stuff. You see?
Yeah.
She gave me that look, people, like that 1,000-yard stare. Like, I understand you, Alex.
I know. You know that we have to actually play the song at some point.
Oh yeah.
Pussy Pigs.
I had another song coming because I felt, but let's do like this. I'm gonna do this song and then we do your song, so we're like in the groove for some music.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a little break, me and Anna, but I'm gonna give you with a little classic, a master. We lost him not so long ago. I'm a little bit sad by that, but until we are back, I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of Joe Cocker and Unchain My Heart.
'Cause you don't care. Well, please set me free. Unchain my heart, baby, let me go. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't love me no more. Every time I call you on the phone, some fella tells me that you're not at home. Unchain my heart, set me free. Unchain my heart, baby, let me be. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't care about me. You got me sewed up like a pillowcase, but you let my love go to waste. Unchain my heart, set me free. I'm under your spell, like a man in a trance, baby. Oh, but you know damn well that I don't stand a chance. Unchain my heart, let me go my way. Unchain my heart, you worry me night and day. Why lead me through a life of misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? Unchain my heart, oh please, set me free, girl. All right. I'm under your spell, just like a man in a trance, baby. But you know damn well that I don't stand a chance. Please take my heart, let me go my way. Unchain my heart, you worry me night and day. Why lead me through a life of misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? Unchain my heart, please set me free. Oh, set me free. Oh, why don't you do that for me? You don't care, but you let me go. But you don't love me no more. you don't care. Please set me free.
Welcome back to Barcelona City FM. You're listening to Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. And as promised, we are going to play a little bit of Anna Tara's music. So in the background now is a world premiere for Pussy Pics with Anna Tara featuring Sola.
Vel, komdu og fundu bragð með mér myndi alltaf vera allsber og enginn myndi þori mig Fara þetta klámaðist, síðan fullur af pussy pics Já, fara þetta klámaðist, síðan fullur af pussy pics Já, Can't stop sending those pussy pics Those pussy pics Take a look at the clit Those pussy pics Those pussy pics Start dropping the clit Those pussy, 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 pussy Those pussy pics Those pussy pics Take a look at the clit Heitir byltust, þreytt í risli, menguðu lífindaðir, dimmt og þið týndust, Veist þú vilt mig alltaf full, skilstu ekki máli ekki gil Klikku hata það, jöp Komdu hata, jöp, hata sig mest Ekkert verulegt, farin eins og bent Veit alltaf hvert ég að fara Klikka gebetsett, langa að hata Bara hata og hata, rata ekki tilbaka Snýfittum delunum sem ég veit og delunum og oppuðu Bounce, bounce, bounce it baby, bounce, bounce, bounce it baby Down, down, rock it baby, say it with me my pussy was my face To make the world a better place Hugsaðu og pælið í hvað það væri heavy sweet að fara í steik og kyneri og allt væri fullnægð Baby, ég lykta vel, komdu og fundu bragð með mér myndi alltaf vera allsber og enginn myndi þori mig Þetta klámaðist, síðan fullur af pussy pics Já, síðan fullur af pussy pics Can't stop sending those pussy pics Those pussy pics Take a look at the clit Those pussy pics Those pussy pics Start dropping the clit Those pussy, 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 pussy Those pussy pics Those pussy pics Take a look at the clit
Welcome back, girl, damn!
Nice.
You're listening to Barcelona City FM 107.3 with Shameless Exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. Yeah. And damn, girl, I can't stop sending those pussy pics. Those pussy pics. Everybody should check that shit out. So YouTube Anna Tara featuring Sola, and the song name is Pussy Pics.
Yeah.
I know you all love that.
By Block Party, two guys in Iceland.
By Block Party in Iceland. Check them out.
That's the beat. Like when I heard that beat, I'm like, I'm paying for it now. It has to be mine now.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So are those your kind of go-to when it comes to the beats?
Those guys?
Yeah.
That's the first one that I bought from them, but they have mixed for me before. But we tend to really try different people quite often.
That was great.
And the guy who mixed it, actually, I have bought some before from him, yeah.
Cool.
So freaking good. But it goes to show you how rarely you even hear the word pussy pics. People go, huh? What are you saying? But if you say dick pics, everybody's heard that before. So it's also like, I feel that there are too many dick pics in the world and too few pussy pics. And I think it would be absolutely amazing if women would find it as normal to be like, right, I'm gonna catch this selfie of my pussy right now and then send it on, because like for most women that's like really far-fetched. Yeah
then it's good.
I want some more pussy pics flowing in the world, and I think that's one way of measuring equality.
So if someone would want to send you some pussy pics, where could they go?
What do you mean?
Yeah, give them your email or something. Yeah,
no, I'm not suggesting necessarily.
Then I will give you my email. This is all good.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
So that's basically what it came from.
That's
It's
good.
very good. Yeah.
I respect that, and it's a really good song. Like, for those of you joining us through the website, you can see me bopping like crazy over here. I was trying to get the disco grooving, but I was going a little bit too hard, I think.
Yeah, well, it's hip hop. I mean, it's not everybody's taste, but in Iceland, hip hop is actually the biggest one.
And you also said that this is one of the best beats to perform to, I guess. And
yeah,
I kind of felt that
I freaking
too.
love it, yeah.
Oh.
And, well, like when you hear it in the good quality system, and it just goes poof. I love the up builds and I love the drops. And whenever the girls are doing something, I always like more up build. I need to feel that drop. Like they're not quite as obsessed with it as I am, but. I know why, because when it's live, it's like you don't have to give anything because the song is giving it to you, and it just has to come out.
I would be in the front like, can't stop sending those pussy pics.
And
Whoa,
then
I know her.
Yeah. And then remember the full screen vagina in the background, which is actually flashing, like with the music, boom, boom. So there was like last time, there was one of the girls in the band, like before her boyfriend has been making the visuals and controlling them, but he was busy, so she did that on stage. She was like, I've never been so nervous before a gig because he was controlling the visual. This is freaking awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Because this song is so much better with visuals. And then we all make a pussy by putting our hands together, and then it kind of opens.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's choreography and everything.
I know the one. And I'm going to teach you another one. If you put your hand like this, maybe you know this one already. For those of you watching us through the website now, pay close attention because this is funny as shit. So you put your fingers like that, and then I do like this, and then I open, right? Right? So if we change plates, and then you open, there you have your pussy. Magic pussy. So the next time you use that in your video, I'm going to call you up for my percent.
Sorry, call me up from
production percent, because I showed you,
that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay you. Yeah,
I know, right?
Absolutely. So an interesting thing happened. The video was taken offline, and it took me quite a few days to get it back up, like nearly a week. And so then I released it again, only like 2 days ago in the evening. So mainly yesterday. And I was shocked. So the hate that I got did not shock me, but this time I only got mainly nice comments. It freaked me out.
Oh,
I was like going through this, and I only got likes, no like dislikes or angry faces, and then like hardly any shit at all. Like only people being super nice and like
good people
and thanking me.
Good.
And I didn't know how to take it. And in one point, I did comment actually. I said thanks very much for the compliment. So I'm quite surprised by the reactions. This is very different from last time. And why do you think that is? So that's like the most interesting question. Why? And their answer or their guess was just because the shock is kind of over.
Yep.
So like if you're in shock, maybe your first reaction is to be angry. So what has happened then in the meanwhile is that it has become normalized in the way that people kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Which it makes me so happy. Like so happy. And even though I kind of had a feeling when I released Nice in the Arse that that's kind of what happened. People are angry first, but then they start thinking about it, and they have like a lot of people have a lot of conversations about it and get to an understanding, and then it's sort of like, okay, I think I might get it. And I really want to encourage people to think.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think you are.
Yeah.
I think you're pulling that off, and that's why you're on the show.
Yeah, because if you think if there's anything that will make the world a better place, or like what's difficult in the world is stupidity.
Yeah.
And the only way to help people become smarter is by encouraging them to think and challenge them.
Wow. That's a good conclusion for today's show.
Yeah.
What was it? Show more love, more vaginas to the world.
Yeah.
And then we might figure something out in the future.
And you're going to post the video on your...
I'm going to post the video, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So everybody can find the video there.
I will. Thank you so much for coming again.
you.
I love having you in the studio.
I love coming.
And for all of you out there, thank you so much. You've been here now for 2 hours. You see, time flies when you're having such an amazing time and listening to Epic Radio on Barcelona City FM 107.3. And you know what this has been? This has been 2 hours of that shameless exposure with me, Alex Lebron, and my beautiful guest, Anna Tara Andrésdóttir in the studio. And don't worry, people, she will be back. That's
Absolutely.
a promise on my behalf. And also check her video out, Pussy Pics, on YouTube. You want to hear that song because it's amazing. Until then, next Thursday, 5 o'clock, you know what to do. You need to tune in to Barcelona City FM for some more of that shameless exposure. Until then, I'm going to leave you with some Pete Rock, and I'll talk to you next week. Love.